Welcome to the fitting room. We start every podcast with a ritual of asking one simple question. What are you wearing today? I'm Hazel from Lacondo, and each week we are going to sit down with friends, creators, and members of the fashion community to talk about the stories behind what they wear. Today I'm joined by Tigra, and I can't wait to dive in. Would you like to say hi?
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Let's begin with the question at the heart of this podcast. What are you wearing today?
Well, today I'm wearing a thrifted scarf around me and black shorts, which are also thrifted. And I've tied my hair up. I'm a massive jewelry fiend, so wearing two bangles on my arms, more like my Amazonian warrior princess vibe, with a bit of chopsticks on my hair. So,
Oh my
yeah.
god. Yeah, I love it. Where are your earrings from?
Oh, my earrings. These were a gift actually from my friend. She's an acupuncturist. She's Chinese, and she gifted them to me.
Incredible. And
Yeah.
where do you usually go thrifting?
Well, I live in Bali and there's a few thrift shops available there. And sometimes they have these like markets in some concept stores that they go like full on thrifting day, 2 day kind of thrifting thing. So every time that's on, I'm like the first one there. And
What?
there are a few like local places that you go a little bit inside, like the city, the old city and stuff. And then I get to find these amazing scarves and lace pieces, which are absolutely amazing. So mostly it's thrifted, and some of the other stuff are some brands I work with. Usually my friends who have these startup brands that I usually pair it up with most of my thrifted clothes. So yeah.
Incredible. And if you have to describe your style in just a few words, how would you put it?
Ooh, this one's an interesting one. Say. I would say mystical, yes, and pop of color. And sometimes I go full like just dark scorpionic vibes. So I would say
Mhm.
mostly like black. Yeah.
I feel like you have such a unique visual identity and you're able to just channel all of those very distinct styles. I remember like a few outfits of you in my head really vividly. One of them is like it's like a very traditional heritage and it's like there's like block print and it's very colorful and you're doing this and there's like a mirror image and there's two of them and I just
Oh,
remember that image so vividly in my head.
oh, I love that you love that. That's actually my brand.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I started a brand right before I gave birth 3 years ago, and it's a one of a kind brand where I produce just one per design, and there was
Mhm.
only 10 ever made for the first collection. So that specific one that I was wearing in that photo, Erica Badu owns this. It was given as a gift to her because she was there in Bali and I met her through a friend. So she owns that. That was the first ever kimono that I ever made and produced. So yeah, she owns it, and yeah, I love this whole like ethnical, like Indonesian designs, and it's called songket, where it's like this weave they do with gold threading. And for me, I'm more like I love like heritage designs and styles, and in my tattoos are like motifs from like a water palace. I love these kind of like ancient, like combining it with the modern. So yeah.
Hmm. Would you like to share and spotlight your brand a little bit? How does the brand concept come about? What makes you most excited to work on these days?
Well, my brand actually is really interesting because I'm a visual artist and I paint and I draw, but I did go to fashion school and I really ever since I was a kid I remember watching Bratz and this was like my life. I absolutely love Bratz and I was like really wanted to be like Jade, and I remember I really got into designing clothes from a small age. And then I remember when I was pregnant, I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to just work on me, myself, go inward. And I thought while I'm creating physically, also create outward. So
Yeah.
I decided I was going to create a brand, but make it super unique to the point that there's actually an eligibility list that you have to go through to be able to purchase an item because it's an art piece rather than everyday
Yeah.
wear. And I highly believe in slow fashion. Yes, of course, we have the basic stuff that we wear every day, like, athleisure wear or like the basic shorts or a basic crop top.
Mhm.
We all have it in our wardrobes. But something that I wanted to really come about is, as a designer and an artist, if I'm to produce something, it's definitely going to have an impact in terms of an artist's like
Mhm.
mindset, thinking outside the box, doing something what most people are afraid to do, because a lot of people, I think, when they create brands, yes, you have to think money mind, but also sometimes the artistry gets lost in translation.
Yeah.
There's so many brands out there. It's very repetitive. It's very much like it's
Mhm.
all, you can find it anywhere. So I
Yeah.
wanted to create something so unique that there's only one piece ever made. And the first collection was really inspired by Indonesia and my ex-husband's Japanese culture, because
Mhm.
he's half Japanese. And so I like kind of combined my Indonesian, Sri Lankan
Yeah.
parts and roots with the Japanese side of things, created 10 kimonos. Each one is completely different to one another. Three of them are reversible, so it's more like two in one, and there's short ones, long ones, and yeah, second collections all about denim and embellishments. So I'm really excited. I'm working on that right now. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I'm so excited for your second collection to come out. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for that.
Oh,
Making one of a piece is really incredible, especially in this world. It's all about like, getting people talk about getting like mind share, making one design that's infinitely replicable, right? And just selling as many of the same thing as possible. And I think it's really rare to be able to do one piece of a piece of clothing.
yeah, because you also have this, like, as an artist, like I feel like every artist, there's an attachment to your art, and like the pieces I make, they're my artworks. And it's, for me, it's also very interesting. It's also helping me to understand detachment in a certain way, because there's only one ever made,
Yeah.
and it's my I make and I give that away.
Mhm.
And he's someone who loves clothes and loves like beauty in most things. I want to create beautiful pieces, but also let go of it and give it to the world. So
Yeah.
it's a really, oops, it's a really interesting concept, I think,
Yeah.
that I'm exploring and trying to go about. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
This keeps like falling down.
No, it's
Okay.
all good. Yeah, and you mentioned drawing on like diaspora or like ancient wisdom in South Asia and Southeast Asia. What are some of the sources of inspiration that you feel most called to draw from?
So, like, I'm originally Sri Lankan, and my grandma, she was a bit of a shaman here. So, from a young age, I was really exposed to these kind of like beautiful temples and these like palaces and things like
Mhm.
that. And I remember looking at the costumes these traditional, like, ceremonial beings would wear, these bracelets, what they would wear. And I was really just inspired by it. And I think for me personally as well, yes, I'm an artist, but I'm also a little bit of a mystic, I would say. And like right now, I'm also working on creating a 44 oracle deck. So there's this like artistic side. So I try to combine these ancient roots that I've been exposed to and kind of translate that into a modern style, and
Mhm.
also to show people that heritage is beautiful, it's everything. Like,
Yeah.
I think if you look at like Chinese to even like Indonesian, the art, it's like every religion is very similar storytelling, but they say it in such different ways with beautiful esoteric
Mhm.
symbolism that I'm really drawn to. I think that's where it comes from.
That's such an incredible journey, and thank you so much for sharing. I'm Singaporean, but I was born to my grandparents are Mongolian, and I feel like I've seen like some shamanist practices when I was a kid, and like the visual or the musical like elements of it, like they do throat singing, and it's a very different universe.
Yeah, exactly. And even Sri Lankans, they have this whole like thing called yaka mask, which are like these devil masks that they wear. And it's so interesting because that similar concept is also in Bali. I know Indonesia is a Muslim country, but Bali, however, the Hinduism is so strong. And I was always drawn to go live there. And now finally that I'm doing that, I feel so that their whole religious aspects based off this whole mysticism. And it's so beautiful the way they celebrate and do ceremonies every day, you know. And for me, seeing that, being around that, smelling the incense every day, the kind of sarongs they wear with the color tones of the lace on top, it's like this
Mhm.
traditional, you know, ceremonial gown they wear. And
Yeah.
for me, like attention to detail, wow, with culture and how it's still so strongly embedded, right? And even though we live in a modern world, even though we live like Bali is a place of like many tourists coming in and out, and
Yeah.
it's still not washed off. They still hold on to that ceremonial aspect so strong.
Mhm.
And if you look at the temples, to how the artworks and the like the motifs are drawn and the ornamentals, wow, they're absolutely amazing, amazing. I was so in love that I got it like tattooed like over here and here
Yeah.
on me. Motifs from a water palace in Bali. Absolutely love the design of it all.
Mhm. It's a really powerful journey, and thank you so much for sharing. And if we are to backtrack a little bit, how did you find your style, and how did you find like your visual language of fashion?
I think a lot of like growing up, like I said earlier, like watching certain movies and things really inspired me. I think I do have to say, I mean, this might sound really funny, but yeah, Brad. I'm not even joking. Like I remember watching this like like addictively and thinking
Mhm.
I want to dress this way. And but the thing is, I grew up half my life in Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, it's a little bit suppressed when it comes to expressing yourself. And the other half of my life, I live in Dubai. So I was basically raised by English nuns in Sri Lanka in boarding school, and every holiday I'm in Dubai. So when
Mm.
I went to Dubai every time, I had the freedom to express a little bit more and a little bit to a little bit. Every time I went back, it grew a little bit more. So I realized, wow, city life is great. I get to put layers and layers of clothing, even though it's really hot there. You know, I just tried
Yeah.
out things. And then when I was out of school, I remember when I joined fashion school to study fashion design and marketing because I really wanted to be a fashion designer. I
Okay.
remember this is where I realized, wow, when you actually choose a subject, or when you want to learn something, you want to learn. This is when you realize as a person that you're going on the path that you want, like what your soul's kind of here to do. You know, no one's boxing you
Yeah.
in. You're kind of like going on the path that you want. Well, some people don't, but the ones that do, amazing. Because
Mhm.
this is how I found myself, you know, early 20s, like late teens. I was like going to fashion school, and I started really expressing myself. I started really, you know, wearing different styles of clothes. I remember my principal, Karen, back in the day, she's English, and I remember she would come up to him like, keep doing you. People are watching you and they're copying you. You're being
Mhm.
an inspiration. And I remember also when we had these projects that we had to do, I was the one who was thinking outside the box, like, okay, combining psychedelics with athleisure wear. So I was going full, you know, crazy concepts to like really like stretching out that brain, you know?
Yeah.
So that got me to a place where I noticed I started having people come up to me and tell me, wow, I love the way you dress, keep doing you. And that also gave me validation to like, yes, I'm doing something right. And I realized that even though I was in Sri Lanka at the moment, there were people that were also like, whoa, like, you know, you go out and they're like, oh, is it too like hot for you? Are you wearing this? Or, whoa, the colors, you know, everyone always have their opinions, right?
Mhm.
And growing up in an Asian country, I dealt with that. And that's when I realized that's okay, because I'm just going to keep being me, because there's a reason we like things. There's a reason as a person and a soul, we get attracted to things, and we like things and we dislike things.
Mhm.
And if you like something, I highly advise anyone to keep following that. There's a reason why you like it, you know, there's a reason why you like it and not this person. So you gotta go on that train, you know, and keep doing it. And the more consistency you get, the better you get at it, you know? And then it just becomes so natural. And then I realized after uni I kind of like found my style, my essence of like my being of who I am. And
Mhm.
now I'm 27 years old, I'm a mom, I have my own label, and I do some styling work here and there. I make
Mhm.
art, and I realized, wow, this is great. I love that in Bali that everyone is so expressive with their style and everyone is so expressive with their personalities. There
Mhm.
was a reason I was drawn to go live there, and I really feel like this is amazing because I get to be me there. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's really beautiful, actually. There's so many beautiful, amazing, stylish people, some really cool people with
Mhm.
amazing brands, amazing like chains of like restaurants to things that are doing really cool stuff. And I feel like if you're an artist, and for me personally, I want to be around a place where I'm constantly being inspired by other people,
Yes.
and not suppressed.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm in a place where I'm constantly being inspired, and that's inspiring my style more. So yeah.
That there's just so much there, and you sort of like grew into like your style identity but also your personal identity, and you're balancing all these different identities, like a visual artist, like mom, like brand label owner, and like stylist. How do you do all that, and how do you think about this coherence behind all the different art forms that you do?
It's interesting. It kind of gets in the way sometimes because I have so many outlets of art that I want to put out. And
Mhm.
I remember my ex-husband always used to say, me, Trish, like, you just gotta stick to one lane. I'm like, no, I can't. There's so many ideas. But
Yeah.
I feel like this is a lot of the times that I tell people and talk about this a lot, where I'm like, life doesn't just go according to how the norm has told you. You
Mhm.
gotta really break through from these notions of what we believe, like what existence is, and just do you in your own terms, in your own time. And
Mhm.
like I said earlier, if you're really passionate about something, like go after it and keep doing that. Keep being in your excitement. And what excites me is fashion and art and love.
Yeah.
I'm a lover. I love romance. And
Mhm.
for me, I came from a very um different family background. It wasn't really the traditional background, and I'm an only child. I always kind of was on my own, was independent, but really that close to my parents. So that really gave me this like, way to just make my own family. And now I've like
Yeah.
done that, and I feel like a lot of people also say that, oh, you're a young mom, but like, how are you doing it? Because I also like to be social. There's
Mhm.
always a way, like, I feel like life will fall into place as you keep going with it in the way that it's good, and you're learning and you keep growing, and it'll
Yeah.
just fall into place when you're positive and you're just embodying and being authentic to you. And I feel like everything just falls into place. And I'm blessed, truly, though. I am very grateful and very thankful for having this life. And
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like things just fall into place for me. And as I keep getting older, I feel like I keep getting a little bit smarter. It's like the more I know, the less I know, right? But um yeah. So, but I'm also just I love to educate myself about, a lot of things. And I feel like with responsibility also with my kid, I'm getting him into making art with me.
Mhm.
And my ex-husband's also a musician, so he's kind of like born into a family of artists,
Yeah.
and I think art is really important, if you're an artist, and just keep making your art. And like people
Yeah.
will you will find the audience. Art is made in silence at the start. And a lot of people mistake this part, I feel like, because a lot of people think that art is made for the audience and the masses, for you to be seen. But no, art is not for that. We've
Mhm.
lost that translation. I think art is made in silence at the start, and the audience will follow as you keep going at it. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And how do you continue to find like a source of inspiration to create? Like what would be your like well of inspiration that you keep drawing from?
Oh, it's like if anybody looks at my Instagram feed or my Pinterest, it's all art. It's all
Yeah.
like esoteric. practices to art to traditional stuff to ceremonial things. I follow a lot of brands and designers as well, and I feel like every time, every day, I always look at inspiration because it feeds my
Yeah.
soul. I just love it, and I think I'm almost like addicted to being on Pinterest at midnight specifically. Um, I'm also a massive fan when it comes to like animated and animations and things, and a lot of these things inspire me when it
Mhm,
comes to like draping like silks or like
mhm.
tying certain fabrics around you, like what I've done right now. I mean, this is a very common way of doing it, but it gives you ideas, and I feel like I am really inspired by like the world of fantasy, I think.
Mm,
More than
mhm.
like realistic things, I think I'm like a little bit like out there. Like I'm not on Earth, I'm like somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that, yeah, fantasy and the world of like, you know, just not earthly things inspire me. So then I want to kind of embody these traits, like
Mhm,
sci-fi or like anime kind of vibes, to like
mhm.
combine it with, modern nowadays kind of aesthetic. So a lot of this inspiration comes from like reading books and like artistic books. Like there's this book called From the Library of Esoterica. They have
Mhm,
these 4 books about astrology, about tarot, plant
mhm.
magic. Now, if you look at these books, right, it's so beautiful, the art and everything. And these things inspire me, imagery from these books. And then
Yeah.
I go rabbit hole searching these artists and then finding more. Like, for example, Alejandro Jodorowsky and Moebius.
I love
Love,
Hodorowski.
love. Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely love. Now, this is
Yeah.
main source of inspiration, like Anima from the Inca series. I love her. Like, that's me. I
Yeah.
am her.
Mhm.
So anything to do with like otherworldly concepts really get me going. And I think that's a main source of my inspiration for sure.
Thank you for sharing. It's really rare that you keep like a consistent practice of like consuming visual content and keep your just like keep your own like cup full in that way to like continue to like absorb different inspirations and be tapped into like this other brands or other visual artists, other filmmakers, and that's really incredible.
Yeah, I'm so glad you knew them. Like a lot of the times I speak about it, not like many people know. I'm like, people need to know this. People need to know more of his work because it's beautiful. For me, I
Yeah.
think personally, aesthetics is everything. Like I'm a very visual person, and then for me, I try to make anything look beautiful, even if it's a simple place that I'm staying at for a day. If I'm doing some kind, I want to make it look beautiful. I want everything to look beautiful, and I think that also taps into a little bit of like my Virgo cusp because it's like perfectionism, and kind of like always wanting to aesthetically make things look nice also can get in the way of practicality. I do have to say, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun.
Incredible. And you mentioned that when you're young, you're getting validation from your school principal, forming your style. What other moments or people have shaped your artistic or style journey the most along the way?
Interesting question. Actually, I don't know. I never had people inspire me in Sri Lanka, to be honest. I didn't. And this is what's also really interesting. I ask myself this question a lot as well. Sometimes, like,
Mhm.
wow, like, where did this come from? And then
Yeah.
I definitely, because obviously my grandma was a shaman and things like that, I definitely got into a lot of books reading about like, the soul and its essence and all
Mhm.
these practitioners and things like that. I'm a tea ceremonist myself as well.
Mhm.
And I realized, that soul's essence was so strong that it was there, because I
Mhm.
really I really didn't have any inspiration when it comes to people. Maybe I would say my grandmother, because I still have some of her clothes which
Mhm.
are like 7 years old, 60 years old, and
Wow.
beautiful silk shirts with these patterns. I think I think I was gonna post a fit on the condo in like 2 days or so because I wore it just recently. And I was really excited to post. It's like this really amazing purple shirt. It's like 60 years old. And I think she inspired me a lot to do with color, I would say, because she was very bold with her style in terms of color.
Mhm.
And she may wear these like block colors all the time, these skirts with these like yellow skirts with these like really bright greens or like reds. I'm like, whoa, like this is
Whoa.
yeah. And I was like, well, but it works, you know? So I think because I always used to wear a lot of black growing up, just black all the time. And I'm a boots kind of girl. I've got all different types of boots. And I just love wearing boots, all these different shapes and sizes and material of boots. So I feel like black with colored boots. And then slowly kind of evolved into getting into more colors ever since I inherited all my grandmother's clothes.
Mhm.
And then I started styling and pairing. And every time I went out, I'd be like, oh, like this bag would match this shirt. And then this scarf with this. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you can also wear a scarf everywhere you want. Like, wear it
Mhm.
on your head, wear it on your top as a top, you wear it as a skirt, you wear it as like a piece on your arm, you
Yeah.
know. So then I started like getting into creating different ways of wearing
Mhm.
clothes. So yeah.
Obviously there's tradition in South Asia and Southeast Asia of like draping or tying, being able to
Mhm.
style a piece of fabric. Like it's just fabric, but there might be like five, six, seven ways to be able to drape it and be playful with the fabric. For people in the Western world who are not as familiar with like those practices and those sort of creativity, do you have like a draping 101 that you would like to share?
Well, I would say if I get a scarf, I would do like a whole 101 about it because I'm a massive I love scarves. Like I wear a lot of bandanas
Mhm.
because my hair it just like it decides what it wants to be every day. So sometimes I'm like, we are not working together today. So I'm gonna tie you up. So usually with bandanas or like scarves like this is a silk thrifted scarf I got. And I would usually do these different ways of tying it around my head. Either would be like a turban, or either it would be like a bandana, or either like hair out or front. And there's
Mhm.
already just four variations just on my head. And then you take it down here, step down, and then it would be like, okay, tie it this way. Or like
Yeah.
where you tie it back here. Or then you could also do a different tie where you tie it this way and let the
Mhm.
frills come out like little wings. Or you could even do like just a tube tie or tuck it in or leave it out or
Mhm.
triangular or so many. And then moves one step down where you move to your waist.
Yeah.
And then you can tie it as a skirt. You can tie it like, like make it longer and tight, make it like shorter and tight if you're going to the beach. So there's all these kinds of ways. And you can also tie it on your boot if you're going out with a smaller scarf, So there's
Yeah.
all these ways of working around with just a square piece of fabric. So imagine the longer pieces of fabrics. Like actually, I do have a story. So yesterday, day before yesterday, we celebrated Halloween.
Mhm.
I'm in Sri Lanka right now. I'm visiting at the moment.
Mhm.
And my friends and I had this party, and I was dressed up, like not really dressed up because I didn't think I could dress up here as much, but I was dressed up as my normal self. And I was out, and we were at this party, and I remember I wanted to really get in the pool, so I got in the pool, and then my clothes were obviously a little bit like wet. And then my friend had a sari, just a black sari. And he wrapped it around his whole body. And he's a really big guy. So I was like, let's go. It's Halloween. Like let's wrap this fabric around me that it looks cool. And I remember I got on top of a chair because I'm quite short actually. And I remember we were trying like three different ways of wearing this sari and like wrapping it around me, draping it, and he's helping me drape the sari as well. And I was just telling him, I was like, wow, like there's so many ways to wear this and not even like a regular traditional sari.
Mhm.
And it looked amazing. And then I looked like Lady of Death, and everyone was just like, wow, you're like, this looks really hot. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel hot in it because there's a lot of black like fabric around me. But
Mhm.
also it was really fun. Like in the middle
Mhm.
of the night, draping some fabric around you because your clothes are wet. And, you know, thank
Yeah.
God, for, like fabric, really.
So much of creativity come from like improvs. It's those like scenarios that really push us to create.
Exactly. I mean, I think improv is necessary. Because a lot of the times, I think a lot of people, what they do is they find a piece and they think, okay, if it's a shirt, for example, they're like, okay, I'm gonna wear this just as a shirt. But I think not, because sometimes I take a shirt just to wrap it around my shorts, just so it has this extra layer, looks like a skirt, but it's not. And I don't even wear it as a shirt. It's just there on my waist, you know? And I think that's the whole thing about thinking inside the box, right? Again, back to this like kind of like sheep mentality and all of that. I feel like you really gotta just do what others are not doing and just think outside the box, which is really important.
I'm so curious what your closet would look like. Is it just a bunch of fabrics and really like interestingly clothes?
I didn't bring much clothes to Sri Lanka this time because half my clothes I actually brought to Sri Lanka. My friend owns a thrifting shop here, and I actually sold a lot of my thrifted clothes to her. I feel like Sri Lanka needs some of these clothes, and I'm really excited as well because she's also doing this amazing job with her thrifting clothes in Sri Lanka. And for me in my closet, usually not too many clothes, I would say. Yeah, there's a lot of scarves for sure. Definitely some key pieces. I love to have key pieces where it's like a statement piece, you know? I
Mhm.
like to like feel like statement piece sometimes.
Yeah,
With my basics, I go like full statement piece sometimes. And I feel like I'm a massive shoe person. Shoes and shades.
yeah.
Shoes and these are my thing. I have like lot. That I would say I have lots, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
colorful closet.
incredible. Who are some of your favorite brands and designers, especially like local to like South Asia or Southeast Asia, but also like around the world? Like who do you take inspiration from and whose visuals like do you look at consistently?
There's this Indonesian brand called DIBBA. Um, Absolutely love it. Amazing. Like amazing. I mean, if I was a designer, I sometimes I'm like, I want to create these pieces. They're so unique, so
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh wow. Like the runway shows are just phenomenal. I'm like, damn, these are amazing. Dibba for sure is top notch out there. I own a lot of Esoteric World clothes. These are all like designers who are not like major league fashion brands because I'm
Yeah.
not about that. I love the niche kind of like brands. So Esoteric World is one. I own a lot of pieces from there. Dibba as well. I buy a lot of Dibba when I give gifts to people, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, what else is there? I'm trying to think of a brand in Sri Lanka. I do love vintage Cartel. It's my friend's thrifted brand. I think she's really dug and found some amazing, amazing clothes in Sri Lanka, especially
Mhm.
for Sri Lanka in the south. I think she's doing an amazing job when it comes to digging for some good thrifted clothes.
Mhm.
What else would I say? Yeah, I think those three are my top ones.
Any brands in Bali that you enjoy, and like also like just wondering as like an artist, like observing the culture of Bali, what do you think like emerging style influences in Bali?
Oh, I think with the younger community, I think a lot of like menswear brands are doing really good. So it's
Mhm.
funny because I actually own a lot of menswear clothes, and a lot of the times because I'm kind of short, I'm like 5 feet actually, and my friends like if I leave like something somewhere, I'm like, oh, like yeah, my shirt, and they're like. They look at it, they're like, this is men's. I'm like, yeah. I said, but you're so tiny. I'm like, yeah, so what? you know?
Mhm.
Because I love wearing menswear clothes, and there's this brand. I think it's an Australian. I think it's two Australian girls or one Australian guy doing. It's called Alfie's Mission. It's a brand in Bali, and I absolutely love their stuff. I love their clothes because they have a very cool, like hip kind of style. And yeah, definitely this one. And Dibba was a Bali brand as well. This one, they take roots from traditional aspects and combine it with the modern. Very much me, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, Alfie's Mission is something to check out for sure. And there's this guy, this designer called Maurizio. He is doing this really cool brand in Bali, and they have these fashion shows and things like that. And it's all to do with like these animal prints or very print heavy, but done right. Like, I love a good printed, outfit. So, yeah, those are some
Yeah.
brands that I recommend.
Thank you for the like the download. It's like knowledge you really wouldn't have if you don't live there for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I feel like because it's different when you're a tourist and when you come to a place like Bali, because there's a lot of like tourists coming in and out. It's like two
Mhm.
different worlds. When you're living there is very different to like when you're tourist just traveling. I think same with Sri Lanka as well. It's very tourist heavy country, and I'm an island girl. I love islands. Because
Yeah.
half my life I grew up in Dubai, which is a city. And
Yeah.
for me, I feel like it's more like, yes, you can dress really well. I remember I worked for Seoul DXB in 1 year, and this was like basically all these brands coming together and doing this
Mhm.
massive like 2-day festival. So I was also exposed to a lot of amazing brands, and my mom worked for Nike ever since I was a kid. So athleisure wear and having these really cool Nikes was a thing. And I'm a massive Arsenal fan, so I would pair up my like Arsenal jerseys with like really cool skirts or my boots, and everyone's like, "Whoa, like you're wearing an Arsenal jersey like that." Like they haven't seen that combination before, so it's
Mhm.
like, oh, something new, and I like that. I like the freshness of style and what it brings to people.
And also, like, I think, like, some of your style, like, I think, like, now that you said it, like, is very tropical, or, like, I feel like I get hints of, like, island and, like, tropic behind it. Or I think, like, something like a really, like, sultry or whatever skirt and, like, long boots. I think I'm getting a lot of island vibes from it.
Yeah, yeah, I do that actually. It's interesting because a lot of the times when it comes to dresses, specifically like just one piece dresses, I don't know
Mhm.
why, but I just don't own that many dresses. I realized
Yeah.
that recently. I think
Mhm.
maybe because there's not much work to do with it. Or, I mean, you could with jewelry and belts and things like that. So, for an instance, if I wear a dress, I would wear it with like two belts,
Yeah.
you know, and
Mhm.
I would pair that up with jewelry on top of the dress, things like
Mhm.
that. So, I think this is really interesting because that's the one thing that I own like less of are dresses, I would say.
Also, like, I'm just personally, like, just, like, pro wearing lingerie as, like, an outfit. And, like, sometimes I walk, like, I go outside and, like, should I? But then I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. I should. I'm just gonna own it.
Exactly. See, this is what happens. Like we always question it because of culture and how things are. Yes, of course, there's certain, boundaries and lines we would draw and limit ourselves. But for me, I feel like I could never do that in Sri Lanka. Definitely not. Like
Yeah.
like sometimes my friends have to tell me, Trish, like, just wear a t-shirt. Like I'm like, but why? you
Yeah.
know? Um but that's me and that's my personality. I question everything. I'm a rebel. And
Mhm.
but in Bali, like definitely, like lingerie with blazers, I think is an absolute hit. Like a lot of
Yep.
people are doing it now, and yeah, I there's a lot of my friends that are also like they wear lingerie, pair it up with this beautiful jewelry and these long skirts. It's like a bralette. It's the same as wearing a bikini top. Or sometimes I wear my bikini tops at night when I go out, and I pair it up with certain things,
Mhm.
and you could never tell it's a bikini.
Yeah.
So there's all these like terms for each pieces that we give, and we think it's put in this certain category and it is for that. But not really. I think, mixing and matching things is very important. I'm also a bit of an alchemist in the kitchen. I love to cook. So for me, even when it comes to cooking, just like
Yeah.
my clothes, I mix like all kinds of things when I'm cooking. Like for example, I have this certain dish that I make. It's a chicken dish that I make, and I put marmalade when I cook it
Wow.
with the chicken.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did it, my friend saw it. It's like, "What are you doing? That's jam." I'm like, "It's marmalade, but it's gonna taste amazing." So it's like, we can combine and mix and you know opposites attract kind of thing. I feel like so. I
Mhm.
think it's very important to. explore and
Hmm.
experiment. Yeah.
Speaking of fruits and dishes, my recent cooking discovery is jackfruit goes really well with like a very garlicky taste, and it just like goes well with everything. That's just like my very random like Southeast Asian cooking experiments.
Nice. I put garlic in like everything. Like everything. It's I cannot live like I can't. I need garlic. Absolutely love it. But why jackfruit? Yeah, it's not as
Yeah.
common in Bali, but here it is in Sri Lanka, and yeah, I should try that. Thanks for letting me know about that.
Yeah, I feel like I don't get to talk about it with anyone because I live in the US and people are just like, what is a jackfruit? But also
Yeah.
like
Oh, it's like that fruit durian. You know
yeah,
durian?
yeah.
So it smells really bad according to some people, but like
Mhm.
if you take a durian and put it in the fridge and eat it the next day when it's cold, it's absolutely amazing. It's also an aphrodisiac, and I
Yeah.
think notions like people are like, oh no, but isn't that a stinky fruit? And they don't try it. It's like
Yeah.
like I can go on a tangent about this where people really need to just step outside the box a little,
Yeah.
and step outside of what's being told. That's right.
Mhm.
And I think it all comes back to just fashion, to art. A lot of the like people who think outside the box are the ones that are successful.
Mhm.
So it's important, I think, to like go out of your way to do different things.
There's like this amazing consistency in how you approach like basically everything from like living to a place, from approaching how you dress or doing art. Like these are all the avenues of like you express your energy or you express your passion, your love with the world.
Thank you. Yeah, I really try sometimes because I definitely had a very, very interesting, difficult childhood. And I think I told myself that I would never ever want to feel this way ever again. And I want to be me and not be suppressed. And I think it really just catapulted into me being this rebellious person.
Mhm.
And even in Sri Lanka, I notice every time I come here, a lot of people always wants to do shoots with me and things like that. And sometimes I even wonder like how they even find me or. But I think it's because I'm doing something different. I think it's because I am pushing the boundaries and limitations of what it is to be. And I think as I
Mhm.
keep getting older, I'm gonna keep doing that. And I'm encouraging a lot of people to do it. And it's not being like, cocky or anything like that. It's about just embodying you and being this way that leaning into your inspirations, leaning into your likes, they're there for a reason. Keep going at it, no matter what, because people are gonna say things. People always have opinions.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
used to be affected by it a lot, and
Mhm.
especially in Sri Lanka when I used to go to uni and when I was in fashion school, I used to really be affected by what people would say. And then
Mhm.
I thought, you know what, like how they feel and when they say something towards you with what you're wearing, to what you're doing, the art that you're creating, you know,
Mhm.
it's how they feel. And that's why they feel that way and tell you these things. It's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So, and I really started embodying that and just trying not to let doubt creep in ever. Even
Mhm.
now, I do this practice where I catch myself when doubt creeps in. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, stop. Why? It's like
Mhm.
internal dialogue, but it helps. It helps to be me. It helps to express my personality and to understand me better. And I feel like if we constantly as humans think of what other people, what everybody else has to say, why?
Mhm.
You only matter for you.
Mhm.
You're here to do you. Like,
Mhm.
so I think it's very important to just be that and embody your personality and keep at it. So
Also thinking about all the beautiful ways that you interact with the world and create. How is clothing or fashion or getting dressed unique for you? Like how is it unique as like an avenue of your expression? And or do you see it sort of similar to other practices like drawing and doing visual art, or do you feel like it's like sort of different and it's like embodied in the way?
it's more like a ritualistic thing for me, I would say, because ever since I was a kid, I loved to play dress up. I think a lot of girls did.
Mhm.
And for me, I just feel like it is something that right before I go out somewhere, I would try on so many different clothes because it's not because I don't know what to wear, but it is the art of it. It's the ritual of it, you know, trying out all these different things and just like pairing, mixing and matching. And I realized when I'm traveling, sometimes it's really fun because it's like, oh, I get to dress up and go out. Not just because it's socializing, it's because I get to dress up. I just want
Yeah.
to dress up.
Yeah.
You know, remember coming to Sri Lanka and I was telling my friends, where can I go to dress up? I feel depleted as a soul if I
Yeah.
don't. I really do. And for me, it's like if I don't get to dress up and express myself, I feel so sad. I'm so depleted. I don't
Mhm.
feel good. So then what I do is I found this amazing hack. Um, I organize photo shoots with my friends, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
let's dress up. Let me style you. Let me style me. Let's dress up and take photos.
Mhm.
So then we do that, you know? So I think I have always found a way to dress up because I love it. I just love mixing and matching clothes. It's very ritualistic for me, and it's never ever ever been stressful. Like maybe sometimes during a Halloween party, and I'm like last minute in Bali, where
Yeah.
everyone dresses up in these amazing, crazy costumes.
Mhm.
Wow. And sometimes then I'm like, okay, this is not it. I'm not putting my best effort here, you know?
Mhm.
So other than that, it's never stressed me out. It's more ritualistic for sure. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and what does your daily ritual look like? Say if you're to go out today or tomorrow, what would the ritual look like?
So my daily ritual just in general, like how my like ritual from morning to night goes, or just ritual just in general with clothes?
With clothes, with getting dressed.
Okay, so definitely I would open my closet, or at least in Sri Lanka, but in Bali it's like a whole section. I would just walk in and just look at every single piece and look at my shoes, look at my sunnies, look at my bags, and just have something in my head, like something, an outfit will come to my mind, like a picture of
Mhm.
it, of me wearing it. And then I'm like, okay, I'll go take a shower. I'll like put on my makeup, and then I will come back and I'll wear the outfit that was in my head.
Mhm.
Sometimes, usually 80% of the time, it's like, yes, I'm feeling it. It's more
Yeah.
like outfit is an entity, I would say.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're feeling it. This is like a symbiotic relationship right now with like
Mhm.
your attributes with my attributes. We're going to go out and we're going to like kick some ass. But sometimes the outfit in my head, when I wear it, like 20% of the time, I'm not feeling it. And I would also then take parts of the outfit and then mix and match, mix and match. I also noticed if, well, let's say, for example, I have an event tomorrow and today I'm opening my closet and I'm like, okay, what am I going to wear? It
Mhm.
never, 100% of the time, never comes to me. Like, or if something comes to my head, it never works out on the day. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's something that comes to me in that moment, and if it doesn't, that means I'm meant to just sit there for a second and wait till a picture comes to my head. I
Yeah.
don't know where it comes from. It's really interesting you asked me that question. No one's ever asked me that. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it makes more sense.
Like it's very energetically like inspired.
It is. It really is. It's more like an embodiment of a certain way of being, right? We'll say one day a picture of like just dark leather jacket, leather knee-high boots to like like kind of like black leathery vibe, and we're going like dark, like Scorpio makeup kind of vibe. Then that's what you're embodying, right?
Mhm.
And today I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this like podcast. I remember I like opened my closet and I was like, I didn't even think my arms just go and pick out this scarf and then just tie my hair, and then I was like, the hair was my only problem too. I was like, how do I do my hair? Clothes are fine.
Yeah.
So it's the whole look, you know, I would say. It's not just the clothes, it's the hair, to the accessories, to the
Mhm.
shoes. It's the sunnies that you pick. I think everything plays an important role in how you portray your style. You know, you can wear the coolest stuff and have your hair the same way. That's
Yeah.
also, but that's not me. So it's always a whole process of doing things, I would say.
As we are approaching the end of our podcast, if someone is still trying to figure out their style, what advice would you give them?
Go after your likes. What do you like? Ask yourself that. What do you like? Do you like red? Do you like purple? All right. Do you like a skirt? Do you like it short? Do not for a second think what somebody else is going to tell you if you wear it. Like, don't. Don't even go there because why? You're wasting your time. You
Mhm.
know, you're not here
Yeah.
to please them. You're here to please yourself. It's like learn how to love yourself first before you try to please the mass, you first. So what do you like? Go after it. That's
Mhm.
my biggest advice to anyone.
Oh, thank you so much. That's incredible.
You're welcome.
Any other general like fashion hot takes, like thoughts and things you would like to share?
Mm, I'd say I feel like the more you find yourself and your personality,
Mhm.
without outside influences. Of course, there's outside influence when it comes to inspiration and things like that. But I think the more you find yourself, your practice as a human, like go out when you go shopping, don't go with your friends, go alone.
Yeah.
I always love shopping alone. Yeah, I think the more you're like with yourself and, out there, just be with you and then you find you more and you'll understand you more. And the more you understand you, these things are going to come to you and you're going to one day look at something and be like, whoa, yeah, I can picture myself wearing that. Or, oh, this color is so me, and it just comes to you. The more you spend time with yourself, the more you have time to breathe in the silence of your thoughts. And that's when it comes to you as downloads, I would say. Because if we're always out and if we're socializing or we want to wear something and we're constantly getting, ideas from other people, there's no time for us to really breathe and taking what's coming to us. We discard it. So
Yeah.
I think spend more time with yourself and, understand you. So then style, aesthetic, likes, passions will all fall into play.
Hmm. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You're welcome.
Pretty much that's pretty much it for today's episode of the fitting room. And at the end of every episode, we like to give a little spotlight back to our guests. So where can people find more of your work or keep up with you?
A lot of my stuff is on Instagram. You can check it out. A lot of my looks, and I'm really excited that a platform like Lacondo exists because now I can actually post my fits there, and I'm really excited about it. And on Instagram, I have my link tree connected to my brands and my YouTube and things like that, which I just recently started, where talk a lot about like neuroscience and self like
Whoa.
care and things like that because I'm very big on rebellious
Yeah.
nation, but do it right, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm creating
Yeah.
my audience, but all the stuff is on my link tree on my Instagram. So yeah,
Yeah, I'll make sure to post the link below. And also, like, she really can do everything.
thanks, thank you for having me. I was really excited, and this was really nice, and it was a great opportunity to really express how I feel about things and fashion and the world. I feel like so. I'm really happy for this opportunity. So thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much for joining us today. I'm feeling inspired. I feel called to just like go and like spend today like in my closet, be a little bit playful. And
Yeah,
thank you so much for bringing that energy into the pod.
you're welcome. Glad I helped.